welcome to the EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter. As always, thanks again for watching a terrific edition of the EQ Video Tip. Before we jump in, let's review the goals of EQ Video Tip. What's on tap for today? We have a great show. It comes to us from Jeff Hayden, who talks to us about an emotionally intelligent phrase that people use when greeting someone. And maybe they've met them before, but they don't remember. And let's face it, we've all been there. We walk into a room, maybe it's a work event, maybe it's a party, we see someone, we go up to them, we shake their hand, we say, "Hey, it's nice to meet you." And they say, "Hey, we met last year." Your brain freezes and you go, "I can't remember this person." But you don't want it to be awkward. You don't want to all of a sudden say, "Where?" or "Who are you?" or "I don't know what this is." And it's an emotionally intelligent, challenging point. We have to figure out what we're going to do. So, what do we do? Let's jump in and see what Jeff says. Tip number one, what not to say. Let's go back to our hero, Jeff, who's the author. Jeff was at a NASCAR race weekend in Chicago, and he runs into a person. The person says, "Hey, Jeff, it's good to see you again. How have you been? We met in Dubai last year." Jeff was frozen. He didn't know what to say, and he couldn't tell him, "I don't remember you," so he tried to recover. This is what you should do. He says, "I'm good. Where did we meet? Was it the Arabian Business Awards?" And the guy goes, "No, it wasn't." Now Jeff is really off balance. He can't do anything. And by trying to guess, it makes it worse. So the guy says, "Hey, it was actually at the startup pitch competition." Jeff's like, "Okay, great. You were one of the people who pitched." Wrong answer again. And Jeff looks even worse because the guy was actually the AV person who mic'd up Jeff before the event. Now Jeff can't recover. And unfortunately, a lot of people try to guess. So don't guess. Instead, do what Jeff recommends in the next tip. Tip number two, what to actually say. And this is really important. When someone says, "Hey, you remember Jeff," or "Hey, Jeff, you remember Bob or Sally or whoever," if you don't remember that person, the easiest 4 words you can say is, "It's good to see you." In doing so, you're acknowledging that you know the person and, "Hey, it's good to see you." You can play 20 questions later on or let them get to things, but it will be very easy for them as well, because when you say, "Hey, it's good to see you," it's a perfect example of emotional intelligence, because you're able to identify the person and say, "Yeah, I've seen you before, this is great." And even if you haven't, they still believe that you know and you're acknowledging their presence. Later on, you can play Columbo and ask them other things that will elicit more information of where you actually met them. But importantly, you actually know that you've said to them, "Good to see you," and they're like, "Okay, this person remembers me." So remember that tip. It's good to see you. Tip number 3, and our last tip. Once you say it's good to see you, don't worry about where you met that person from before. In fact, focus on the questions that are truly important right now. That person wants to talk to you, and they want to talk about something probably not from a month ago, 6 months ago, or even 6 years ago. They want to focus on the truly important things right then and there. And by saying, "Hey, it's good to see you," you've acknowledged that you remember them, and it's okay if you haven't, because they're going to have an ask for you or want to talk to you or partner with you about something else. So remember, it's good to see you, and then ask how they're doing and jump in and ask a lot of questions about what their business is or what they're trying to accomplish in the future. This way, you'll elicit more confidence from them as well as a connection as well. So, in closing, it's good to see you. That's a wrap for this week's EQ Video Tip. Remember, in doing things like saying, "It's good to see you," you make people feel appreciated and valued. And in doing so, you've created a connection as well as ensure that you didn't embarrass yourself or them as well. Hopefully this tip helps you out next time you can't remember someone's name. So that concludes our EQ video tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ Video Tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.